Congressman Tom Garrett from Virginia. He's a member of the House Freedom Caucus. Congressman, I was shocked when Mulvaney said that. Do you really think that the House, your body, can pass the tax bill by the end of this week?
I absolutely do. I'm excited about the opportunity. I find it humorous that anyone who's in elected office or adheres to any GOP principles thinks that Chuck Schumer is giving us advice in our best interest. But if they choose to believe that, or if Mr. Schumer thinks that we're taking counsel from him, that's a good way to get him to waste his time.
But this week, that is a surprise that it could be done that quickly. But then, of course, it has to go to the Senate. And a lot of people have taken pause when they look at the Senate plans because there are a lot of differences between your plan and the Senate plan. How long do you think it'll take to resolve those differences?
Well, look, the good news is that this stuff is out in the sunlight now, and we're able to start taking a look at it and start reconciling some of these things. Obviously, there are differences. There always will be. That's kind of why you have a bicameral legislative body. But the conversations are already being had, and any way you slice it, I think the best argument I've heard from opponents is that some people's taxes might go up in 2023, which to me is wonderful news because they're essentially admitting that everybody's taxes are going to go down until then. And as it relates to a rush to get this through, I'll tell you that if we need to work diligently and quickly and stay late into the night to put more money into the pockets of hardworking Americans, and that's something we ought to do.
But here's one of the problems with the Senate plan. The whole thing is about simplification. It's about growing the economy, but also simplifying the tax code. That's a big part of it, according to President Trump. What the Senate plan does is to maintain the 7 different tax brackets. If you want to simplify the tax system that we have in this country, you have to cut the number of brackets. Otherwise, you have bracket creeps and a whole lot of other problems. How do you resolve that difference? Because your plan has only 4 brackets, theirs has 7.
Well, I like fewer brackets better than more brackets. I also like keeping the 10% bracket as opposed to moving up the rate and going to a 12% bracket. So we're never going to get a bill that one person loves, and that's a good thing because when that happens, you have an autocratic regime. But what's going on here is that any particular individual only has 1 bracket. So the net here needs to be that we're reducing the burden on working Americans and job creators so that we can grow this economy, because if we don't get spending in check, then the only alternative is to grow revenue by growing the economy. The other good news is we've seen back-to-back +3 quarterly growth for the first time.
We have, and a lot of that has to do with the work that the president has done already in deregulations and everything. But there is a plan by the Senate to delay the implementation of the tax cuts in the corporate level. We have seen delays of tax cuts in the past stall the economy. That's what happened in the 80s. That's what happened with the G.W. Bush plan. If we stall the tax cuts, we may stall the economy. Does that worry you?
Absolutely worries me. Having said that, ultimately my job is to do the best I can to ensure that posterity inherits something as good, if not better, than what we got. And this is, generally speaking, a step in the right direction. If we want to get into things I don't like the student loan credit going away. I don't like the historical preservation tax credit going away. It particularly impacts my district, so that's understandable.
So are any of these issues, we have to wrap, Congressman, but are any of these issues deal breakers? That is, if the Senate insists on delaying the corporate tax cut, the kick-in of that tax cut, which could stall the economy, is that a deal breaker for you?
You know, I haven't even committed to yes on anything yet because I don't kiss on the first date. Having said that, we need to put more money back in people's pockets so economic activity can spur economic growth, which will spur revenue growth, which will mean a more prosperous America. So I'm trying to find a way to get to yes.
All right, Congressman Garrett, we thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Melissa.
David, Melissa.